stunning deck. I am really moved by the artwork. I think it is rich, it is beautiful, it's powerful, it's thought-provoking, it takes you on a journey. It's just incredible. Hey up me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So it's Sunday afternoon and it's the middle of the afternoon and it is absolutely pitch black. It's like the middle of night. We've just had a huge downpour of rain, coupled with the fact that yesterday was bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night. So the 6th of November is always a dark day because there's been so many bonfires and fireworks, particularly if you're in the city where I am, where you tend to get quite a lot of displays. Although the city hasn't done one this year, just because of the cost of living crisis, they can't afford to. So it's always a dark day anyway, and it tends to be a day that I stay home and don't do too much. I have been out for a couple of hours this morning. But I thought it'd be a nice idea to come on and play with some cards and show you some cards. And then it's took me a while to get the lighting right because it is so dark for the middle of the day. But anyway, I'm here because I want to share with you the William Blake Tarot. Now, this isn't a new deck. In fact, it's the 3rd edition, and it's been sent to me for the purpose of review by Red Feather. But I chose this deck because I remember seeing it when it was indie. So this is even though it's the 3rd edition, it's the 1st edition that's mass produced through a publishing company, which is Schiffer Red Feather. And every season, Red Feather will send me their catalogue, and if there's anything in there that takes my fancy, they will send it to me for review purposes. And I saw this, and I was like, I'd really love to take a look at the William Blake Tarot. And they've had a few issues getting it in and shipping and everything else, so it has taken quite some time, probably a good 7 or 8 months to actually get to me. But I know this deck is going to be worth the wait. It's by Ed Byrne and it's called the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination. Now, just a little bit about William Blake, and I'm not a huge William Blake expert, but he is somebody I remember studying at school, and is somebody that I have kind of admired for what they believed in and what their views were at the time. And when you think he was born in 1757 and lived he was 69 when he passed away, he died in 1827. He is English, he's an English poet and painter. He was born in London and he died in London, but he was very much a modernist with his views. He believed in free love. He didn't feel, and he would, write about and talk about how he didn't agree with the Church of England's view on marriage, etc. And he believed in racial and sexual equality, which, when you think of the time, is very progressive, very forward-thinking. He also spoke out against poverty. And he also wrote about and spoke about the fact that he claimed to have visions. And usually these visions were of a religious theme. So he would see angelic figures, archangels. I remember reading once about a tree that was full of angels, and the way it was described was really beautifully described. I mean, his peers like Wordsworth referenced him as being mad, you know, using words like that he was, mad, I think was the word. And it's not a word that I like to use these days, but certainly it was used a lot a couple of centuries ago. And, you know, a hymn, even though I kind of recoil at my Christian past, one of my favourite songs or hymns, poems, put to music, however you want to term it, as particularly Last Night at the Proms, which is if you're not from the UK, you might want to Google or even YouTube Last Night at the Proms. It's in the Royal Albert Hall, and there's usually Land of Hope and Glory that's played and sung. Rule Britannia is another one, but one that features which is quite popular, is Jerusalem, you know, and did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's green and pleasant land, which also references something. Lots of things are coming into my mind at the moment. That's, you know, also I've just come back from Glastonbury last week. And that is the place where it is believed that if Christ did walk on England's green and pleasant land, that it was Glastonbury, Avalon. And, you know, we've got the whole story about Joseph of Arimathea and the Holy Thorn and things like that. But William Blake wrote Jerusalem as a poem, which later was set to music and became a hymn. And that's just one of the things that he's known for. Anyway, enough of a pre-ramble. You will have seen that I've only just opened this. I've just took the cellophane off. It is beautifully packaged. I really like these compact boxes. Yes, the big boxes are great because then you get a big book. But in terms of storing, these are perfect, and I love it because it's got this magnetic closure. As you can see, it's by Red Feather. It says on the side, the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination. It is matte all the way around, and then it has this gloss image here and some of the cards on the back. So it says on the back, William Blake is universally acknowledged as an extraordinary artist, poet, and visionary thinker, considered hard to understand due to his complex mythologies, but now his central thesis that creativity is divine can be readily comprehended and employed as never before through the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination. In this pocket gallery, Blake's ideas and images become symbolic tools for answering imaginative, spiritual, and personal questions. Unlike textbooks and critical studies, this tarot deck presents Blake's astounding ideas and images in a manner that is approachable and entertaining. It's a little bit hard to read that text. Contains 23 archetypal cards called triumphs, together with a set of 56 creative process cards in 4 suits. So what I will say is, if you're looking for a beginner's tarot and you want to learn tarot as a system, I probably wouldn't start with this, just because every card is renamed. So the suits have been changed. The major arcanas have been retitled, which we will take a look at. But oh, this is beautiful. I'll just check then that the camera was still rolling. Yes, it is. Time is the mercy of eternity. Without time's swiftness, which is the swiftest of all things, all were eternal torment. I like that. That's beautiful. So we've got a little ribbon, which you can take out. All the cards are gilded. I'd forgotten about that. This is a beautiful size deck. Pop the cards there for just a second. So yeah, really nice, sturdy box. Let me pop that ribbon back on the inside. We'll just have a quick look at the book. Full colour. So it does tell you, so we've got science for air. So let's go back to the beginning. Tells you a little bit about Ed Byrne, retired author, professional photographer, publisher and editor. Currently he is an online bookseller and performing poet. So early editions of this deck, remember this is the 3rd edition, were based on reproductions from which the cards are derived. However, the inherent energy of Blake's art eventually seemed dulled for tarot use by time-faded colours and indistinct details of these reproductions. I wanted a brighter, clearer edition specifically for tarot use, not just a miniature gallery of fine art. Therefore, this illuminated edition, so it has had some work to the art, and I think I'm right in thinking there's like a collaged concept as well, collage of his work and paintings. Therefore, this illuminated edition of reimagining of William Blake's art and ideas for modern tarot using brighter, more uniform colours and finer details. Along the way, I also added some important new changes to the suits of music and poetry. The liberties taken in creating these cards I consider as creative collaborations across time and space by William Blake and myself, in accord with the perennial wisdom. I really like that. And it reminds me of when I did an interview with Patrick Valenza from Deviant Moon, and I asked him how he felt about us as a community modifying decks, you know, edging them, trimming them, sometimes even adding cold stamping like metallic pens and things on them. And he said, once it's yours, do what you want. And he kind of described the process of, you know, collaborating, just collaborating. Oh dear. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I will not reason and compare. My business is to create. And that's a quote from William Blake. So we've got the triumphs, the soul's journey, experiencing fall and regeneration, the cycles of eternity. And then we've got the 4 suits of painting, science, music, and poetry. Okay, so we've got some spreads at the beginning. It's a nice little book. Celtic Cross is in there, of course. Everybody has the Celtic Cross. So we have the triumph. So we're starting with card 0 for eternity. It's not giving you a cross-reference to what the tarot would be. But I mean, it's hardly... You know, if you do know the tarot system, it's not going to be too much of a stretch. You've got things like reversal for card 12, which is the Hanged Man. For the death, you've got transformation. So that's not too challenging. And then when we go to, I love that union card, Liberty and Union, beautiful. When we go here, we do get, you know, the reference to the element. So painting is water, which would be your cups suit. So painting for water. Oh, we have, is it boy, girl? No, we have angel, child, woman and man for the courts. For page, knight, queen and king. Science is air. So we have ace of science is the intellect. I like what he's done there. So air, of course, is your sword suit. And then music for fire, for the element of fire, which is your wand suit. Oh, it starts with passion, like that. And then we go to poetry for earth, the element of earth, which is pentacles. And what was the ace? I can't separate that paper now. Inspiration, of course, it starts with inspiration. Man of Poetry. So a nice little book. You get just a short paragraph for the majors. But here on the minors, you then get the keyword. So science and jealousy. 3 of science is jealousy, 2 of science is reflection. You paragraph, and then you get here in the creative process. Okay. So nice little book. Let's have a look at the cards. Now this is a beautiful deck. Let's take this band off. So, wow. The card stock is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. It is matte. It's nice, thick cardstock. It's gilded, as you can see, with this metallic gold gilding, which is beautiful. They're quite large. They're like almost like an oracle size, probably the size of something like Witch's Wisdom, if anybody has that as a tarot deck, or Shimmer and Veil. We'll take a standard tarot card and compare. So you can see it's much wider, a little bit taller than your standard tarot. I have to say, I really like the font here. This calligraphy is quite nice. It's quite large. There's quite a bit of border, as you can see, but I don't mind that, because the border houses this beautiful, kind of almost like someone's got a quill or something and wrote this. So it's very much in keeping with the time. All right, so let's have, I'm not going to do a flip through and just let you see. I want to kind of talk my way through this one as well without the video being too long. Okay, so we do have an extra card. I'm trying to not have the camera wobble. We have 2 0 cards. So we have 0, which is more typical as our full card, Innocence. But we also have the Eternity card, which, to be fair, I have seen that at an additional card at the end of the Major Arcana, or even replacing the world or universe as eternity, infinite, that type of thing. So this is the powerful creative or spiritual realization, being blessed and inspired by a dream or a vision. Now remember, William Blake was renowned for his visions. It's awakening to one's spiritual destiny, tremendous opportunity in the offering, a positive and significant card in any situation. And again, that's why it's got the zeros here. But just look at this image. You've got this infinite stairwell, or it's like the stairway to heaven, isn't it? This radiant sun, which is just stunning on this card, and it goes off into the eternities. And there's people at various stages, you know, there's people at the bottom laying forlorn, people taking things with them like jewels and important things, other people coming down, these angelic figures coming down. So, you know, all in various stages here. Beautiful card, really beautiful. Here we have the Innocence card, which is our Fool. I mean, this is quite a darker take of the Fool. We've got these heavy black pendulous clouds looming overhead. The sun is setting, so, you know, it's giving way to the darkness. And the Fool's dog, which is, you know, the one usually firmly on the cliff, warning of imminent danger, has actually gone over the cliff and about to, you know, go into the jaws of this crocodile. And the Fool, who is running along here, is stopping himself right at the edge so he doesn't meet the same fate. Totally naked, again, that innocence. Something fresh and new on the horizon, a tangible risk needs to be faced. Trusting your instincts, a sense of adventure at hand, confronting unknown factors, dealing with folly or foolishness, expect the unexpected. I mean, isn't this artwork fantastic? Absolutely fantastic. And on this beautiful matte cardstock as well. Really, really nice. The backs of these angels on, again, part of his visions. We have magic for the magician. So even though the titles have been changed, they're not a stretch, as you would imagine. Love this card. This is mystery. So when we think of our high priestess, unexplained or mysterious energies at work, relying on your intuition, listening to that still small voice, your inner wisdom, feeling a sense of divine protection guarding your territory, issues of sexuality. So beautiful, really beautiful. And then we have nature for our Empress card. Again, you know, the Empress card is always usually seen with an abundance of fruit and vegetation around her in luscious fields very often. And we've got these gorgeous plants and flowers and trees here. Fruitfulness and abundance, awakening or growth of emotions, awareness of the natural forces at work, and a deepening appreciation of nature. And then we have our Emperor card, card 4, which is titled Reason here. I mean, it's about, you know, that authority, really, that taking control, that being stoic, thinking things through, using judgment and reason. It says here in the book, pure rationalism in effect, using your head to get through a situation, a time to define or obey the rules, yielding to or being the boss or authority figure. I love this. We have religion for the Hierophant. And yeah, I mean, the Hierophant is often seen as a religion card. I mean, I like to see the Hierophant depicted as like teacher, mentor, that type, rather than some sort of religious person in full regalia, like a pope, which was the original key 5. So it says here, need or desire for personal guidance. But it does warn against hypocritical influences may be present, like spiritual materialism, and we should question authority, be suspicious of leaders and gurus. Conventional morality may be a dominant factor, corruption in high places, fighting or giving into, it says City Hall, feeling oppressed by the rules. So whilst there's not a lot in the book, it's worded well. There's enough there to get you going. Our Lover's card is knowledge, an important, possibly moral choice to be made. Be discriminating with advice from others, deep insight into relationship or one's own involvement in a relationship. I'm not going to read all the words because this will be a very long video, but I want to give you a flavour, because very often when we see tarot decks where the titles are changed, the suits have been changed, it can be for some quite off-putting. And what I'm trying to illustrate here really is that the essence is still there, very much in line with the tarot. So the Chariot is the experience card, wanting to be in control of your instincts, emotions, or elemental forces, taking the reins in the situation. Goal-oriented or materialistic drive to succeed, journeys or involvement with motion and mobility. Maybe the need to prove something. So key 8 is leaning towards the the justice card rather than the strength card. The need to be fair and just. A situation involving judgments or balancing of issues. Consideration of commitments, agreements or negotiations. Weighing up pros and cons of a situation and evaluating the needs of self versus others. These are gorgeous. We have imagination for our Hermit card. We do have that sort of illumination, looking into the darkness here. There's these archways into something, and he's tentatively stepping over from the light into the darkness to retreat away from something. The book says, a murky situation requires wisdom and prudence. Allow your beliefs and convictions to guide you through the doors of perception. Use your imagination to illuminate the unknown, finding an answer or solution through introspection, putting your own light and wisdom into action, evoking the divine imagination as a transformative force in your own life. Perfect. Oh wow, look at that. Whirlwind for the wheel. Winds of change bring visions, opportunities. I love how they talk about visions a lot. A godsend or stroke of luck, good or bad. Outer turmoil, concealing inner truth, getting the runaround, etc. We have energy. That's interesting, isn't it, for our card 11, which for here would be strength. Excuse me, because key 8 was around justice. Invigorated with lust for life and abundance of vitality, relying on your physical strength and endurance, honouring, put me H's in there, honouring your natural instincts, looking to animal or totem forces as allies to help you. Love that. And just look how rich these colours are, how beautiful that image is. Here we have our Hanged Man. It's called Reversal. So deliberately looking at a situation in a new way and from a different perspective. And that's how, first and foremost, I see the Hanged Man. You know, it's not a state that has been forced upon. It's very much voluntary. It's about pressing that pause button, flipping things on its head, looking at things from a different perspective to be able then to move forward. And that's what it says here, deliberately looking at a situation in a new way from a different perspective, brainstorming in a search for solutions, turning things upside down, being unconventional, creative retreat into yourself, acceptance of losses or reversals of fortune. The Death card is a transformation, you know, and that's perfect, isn't it, for death. I love this cutaway here. And look at all the things that's happening in the detail. Eliminating something old to make room for something new. A major change or metamorphosis is at hand. Renewal. Burning your bridges behind you, preparing for the future. Letting go is advised, even if difficult. It's always difficult to let go. Acceptance of what is inevitable, cutting your losses, stripping away the excess or superfluous. Oh, wow. Forgiveness. So this is our Temperance card, which is forgiveness. I mean, going from death and transformation to forgiveness, a trial and error blend of creative solutions to a problem or complex issue, keeping things in proportion and proper balance by making needed adjustments, managing your time and resources carefully, listening for inner guidance and turning into spiritual advice, promoting forgiveness and healing, being compassionate towards those around you. I mean, it does have, when I see images like this, it does remind me of my religious background, but these are, you know, paintings from that romantic age and influenced by religion. Here is our devil card. This is a fantastic image, isn't it? I mean, just look at that. It's called Error. Seeking ego gratification through manipulation or duplicity. Self-importance, lacking a sense of humour, controlled by your lower nature or personal shadow. Fears generated by ignorance, feeling pressure by materialistic, institutional or corporate agents, negative obsession, blind adulation, sexual or material bondage, given into temptation, guilt or panic. Gorgeous. I have one thing I have noticed is that the corners are slightly upturned. However, I've noticed in the past when this happens that as you use the cards and shuffle them, they do go down. But they are causing, I'm just going to do that little click thing, so it is causing a couple of them to stick. Okay, lightning is the next card, which of course would be the Tower. So kind of self-explanatory. It's that unexpected shock, the upheaval, you know, a big event that can be catastrophic, either mental or material, even a spiritual breakdown. Beautiful card. Look at that. We've got stars for the star card. Renewal of hope. We've gone through this. We've got that renewal of hope. We've got that light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to feel connected again. Yeah, beautiful. Then we have the moon. So we've kept stars, moon and sun. So star has become stars, but other than that, those three together haven't been renamed. So we've got our moon card, which is about the psychic insights, relying on your instincts, using your dreams and musings as sources of inspiration, unconscious fears that need to be addressed. We've got a beautiful sun card, absolutely gorgeous sun card, illuminated by imagination and inspiration, liberation from old patterns, and that realization of your own personal goals. And then we have liberty instead of judgment. So liberty, an emerging and powerful sense of personal freedom, hearing a wake-up call to action, achieving a deeper level of awareness or sense of spiritual belief, a rebirth or basic change of state, metamorphosis, resurrection, making an important decision or judgment, perhaps long delayed, and then being released from limiting circumstances and having compassion for humanity. And then we have union for our world card. The successful coming together of something vitally important to you. Getting your act together at last, feeling a triumphant sense of we shall overcome. The joining of male and female forces, or unification of inner and outer life. So that sort of duality coming together. Accepting the situation in its best light, not holding anything back, being at the center, completion, spiritual self-sacrifice. What a gorgeous image. Look at those colours against that black background. I love it. Okay, so it looks like we have, for the minors, we've got borders of some sort, patterns. I wonder if they change. They do, look. So each suit has its own border associated with it. So we've got painting, and then we've got science, we have music, and then we have poetry. So they have their own distinctive border here. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker because I've taken quite a while, about 20 minutes just to do the major arcana. And if I apply the same amount of time, 78 cards is going to be 78 minutes, so nobody wants that. So yes, we have painting. So if we remember, painting is our water suit, the embodiment of inner vision, giving form to spiritual light, path of sensation and spirit. It says on this side as well, the suits cards of the Blake Tarot describe the gifts and opportunities of the four eternal arts: painting, science, music, poetry. These suit cards describe the psychological states associated with Blake's primal arts. The symbol of these suits, the glyphs, so that's what we're seeing here and here, these are the glyphs, are designed to visually correlate with the corresponding suits in the traditional tarot, namely pentacles, swords, cups and wands. See page 5 for these glyph correspondences. I think we will, because I think this is quite key really. So it's actually page 4. Oh no, you get the description here. But yeah, so you can see here, look, painting is the embodiment of water. So you've got your paints here, and then your embodiment of water, science, etc. Okay. So I'll go a little quicker through here. So what you get for these cards is you get your ace through to 10, and then your renamed court cards, but you also get a keyword at the top. So here, the ace of painting is generation. Look how beautiful these images are. Balance for our 2 of painting, our 2 of water. 3 of painting is practice. 4 of painting is means. Hardship for the 5 of painting. Let's just have a little, because you do get some different, you get the creative process as well. So the book here says tangible difficulties, insecurity or financial worries, possible material losses, pain or illness, accusations and criticism or blame from others, exclusion, suffering, stripping down for action, facing up to your fears or critics, issues of support, loyalty or companionship in hard times. And then you get in the creative process, negative factors beyond your control may be a cause for anxiety. Keep on track by staying humble and facing what has to be done. So a real sort of practical step there. So then we have assistance for 6. Patience for 7. Discipline is 8. I love this artwork. Fruition for 9. How beautiful is that? 10 is delight. Look at these. And then our courts, if we, as I say, if we think of the kind of traditional courts, it only really applies to when we get to, is it woman and man or woman, yeah, woman and man for Queen and King. We have angel and child. See, child is very much kind of associated with the page, but for this deck, the angel is the graphic muse, angel of painting, the muse, the object that is being painted. And then we have the child of painting, riding this sea creature here. Not quite sure what it is. At first I thought it was a dolphin, but then possibly not. On a roll, riding a wave of prosperity. And then we have the woman, and then we have the man. And then, as you can see, our borders change and the glyphs change as well. So this is the suit of science, which is the suit of air, okay, which would be usually depicted with swords. So we have intellect for the beginning, for the ace, then reflection. I like the way that these build. Look at this. We have jealousy. Wow. Repose. Division. We have passage. Seven is lamentation. Restriction for 8. And when you think about the 8 of Swords, you can understand that. Oh, what a powerful image that is. Despair, which would be the nightmare card, wouldn't it? And then defeat. Again, you know, it's not a million miles away. We can, you know, I won't have a problem reading these cards. Maybe a little bit for angel and child, but oops, I took 2 cards together there. Child card, the woman of science, and the man of science. Okay, and then we go into our music, which the music I'm getting now is fire wands. Celebration of life force, feeling with heart and soul, the path of love and beauty. Wow. Two is contraries. Exuberance. Exuberance is beauty. Musing for 4. I like these little quotes on this suit. And I wrote my happy songs every child made joy to hear. Melancholy for the 5. Here lieth William Blake. Even got the day 1827, the date of his death. Whatever is born of mortal birth must be consumed with the earth to rise from generation free. Then what have I to do with thee? Fantastic. Pleasure for 6. Fancies for 7. And then we have Discontent for 8. Happiness for 9. And Sublimity for 10. Peace and plenty and domestic happiness is the source of sublime art. The Angel. The Child. So he's wearing a bear skin here. The Woman of Music. And the Man of Music. And then we go into our final suit, which is the Earth suit, which is poetry, the suit of poetry. So the Earth suit being pentacles or coins. And we've got inspiration. It begins with inspiration. Individuality. The 3 is creativity. 4 is harmony. The 5 is strife. We have cooperation for 6. Boldness, bold in capitals. The times require that everyone should speak out boldly in arts as well as in arms or in the Senate. We have swiftness. Powers. And we have prophecy for 10. Angels stand around my spirit. Am I seeing right? I found them blind, William. I taught them how to see. Child of poetry. Woman of poetry. And man of poetry. So there we have it. That is the William Blake Tarot. Stunning deck. I am really moved by the artwork. I think it is rich, it is beautiful, it's powerful, it's thought-provoking, it takes you on a journey. It's just incredible. And on this beautiful cardstock as well, I mean, yes, it's a chunky deck. Some people with small hands may struggle to overhand shuffle. Not going to be the easiest. See, I'm already dropping cards. I know some people with larger decks like this prefer to do that way. It's whatever works. It's not a deck that I would, I don't know, I don't riffle shuffle, so I wouldn't try it anyway. But if I did, I'm not sure I would with a deck like this. But such a beautiful deck, powerful. I'm looking forward so much to working with this deck, really am. And our card is to lament. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. It's been lovely to sit here with you and go through this incredible deck. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's not often that a deck comes along that really kind of inspires me to, you know, dig deeper, which this deck lends itself to. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.